Darnold. Guys, Sam Darnold had a great season. Let's just be honest. There is no secret about it. There is no denying it. There is no way of really trying to shade it one way or the other. He had a great season. And he played on a very team-friendly contract this season. 1 year, $10 million to be exact. But by him having this great season, per sportstrack.com, he is projected to sign a 3-year, $100 million deal. So when we look at Sam Darnold, there are several teams out there that could use the services of a quarterback. 4,300-yard passing from last season, 35 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. But guys, what team makes the most sense for Sam Darnold next season? Sam Darnold, guys, did have 43 yards passing this season. 35 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. His best season before that was his second season, the sophomore slump season, right? With 3,024 yards to 19 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. So there are several teams out there that could use the services of a quarterback, but I've narrowed it down to 4. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the New York Jets, New York Football Giants, and the Las Vegas Raiders could all use starting quarterbacks for the 2025 NFL season. Let's start off at the top. The New York Jets. Let's just go ahead and throw them out right there. The Jets, no way, no how is Sam Darnold going to you. You guys left Sam out to dry 2 of the 3 seasons. 2 of the 3 seasons that Sam Darnold was in New York, his rookie, sophomore, and junior year. 2 of those 3 seasons, you guys were there to tank. Sam Darnold should never go back to New York. Never, ever, ever keep them in your rearview mirror. Check that off the list. Get it out of here. Now let's look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3 years, $100 million. What's that? Roughly 30 some odd million dollars a year. Right? So looking at $33 million a season, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers guys have around $40 million in cap space in 2025. But beyond a quarterback, they do need some receiver help. They need some offensive line help. And they need a big culture shift. That's what it comes down to. I feel that the Pittsburgh Steelers can address their wide receiver needs in the draft, but the old line could get costly. $30 million a year per Sam Darnold leaves you about $10 million to play with. I'm not sure if they could get that to work out. So I think the Pittsburgh Steelers out. Now, the New York Giants. This team is very, very intriguing to me. The New York Giants guys are not a bad team. They have a nice young wide receiver core. They have a pretty decent defense. They have a lot of core pieces on that defense that could be a great defense if the right coach and scheme comes into play. Offensive line is fairly good, getting better. And Tyrone Tracy from last season came on late and is a good running back in place of Saquon Barkley. The New York Giants have around $43 million in cap space, so they can definitely afford him and definitely bring in another talent or 2 to really catapult this team in the right direction. So out of those 4 teams so far, the New York Giants are sitting at number 1. I think the New York Giants could be a perfect spot for Sam Darnold. Go back into New York, stick it to the Jets, and get the Giants to the playoffs. I think that could happen. Now this last team, the Las Vegas Raiders. I know. Raiders suck. I feel that the Raiders should be in a complete rebuild mode. New head coach, but same defensive coordinator. New offensive coordinator, but same quarterback. But all they do have some good defensive parts in Las Vegas. They have an opportunity to be a great defense, but they aren't that right now. The offense also has some parts of the puzzle put together as well. They're starting to build the border on the offense as well. Jacoby Myers came on late last season. Brock Bowers is going to be a tight end to reckon with for many, many years to come. On the bright side, though, in Vegas, they have over $100 million in cap space. $100 million in cap space. So they could legit do a complete rebuild and bring in all these extra players and do really, really well. But that's not the Raiders' MO, is it? That is not the Las Vegas Raiders' MO. So out of those 4 teams, the Jets, Steelers, Giants, and Raiders, I think the best fit for Sam Darnold next season, beyond the Minnesota Vikings, obviously, would be the New York Football Giants. I think he would thrive in New York. He would thrive underneath the pressure, and he would thrive to want to stick it to the New York media each and every chance that he got. So, guys, what do you guys think? Sam Darnold is going to get a payday. Whether you want to admit it or not, he is going to get paid. What is the best team for him? James Frank says, that's crazy. He'd be making more than Baker Mayfield, but Baker is still better. Listen, next quarterback up is always going to be the next highest paid quarterback. James, I even heard rumors of Sam Darnold signing a 4 or 5 year deal north of $250 million. Wrap your head around that. This man had one good season, 4,000 yards. It was a great season. Minnesota Vikings were 14-3. But damn, one good season? So my man had sex one good time, blew the lady's mind, and now she wants to wife him up. But then he sucks. I'm kidding. James says he's definitely not going to the Jets. Listen, if I was Sam Darnold, I would go to the Jets, make my contract guaranteed. I want a guaranteed $100 million, $155 million contract. Guaranteed money. Oh, shit, my back hurts. Oh, man, I got turf toe. Oh, man, this helmet doesn't quite fit. Pull a Josh Olson's AB there, right? Antonio Brown. Go to the freeze tub and freeze your feet off. John says, I heard Jimmy G is in Minnesota. John, the last I heard, Aaron Rodgers was going to Minnesota. So I guess they'll have the best of both worlds there, Jimmy G and Aaron Rodgers, to teach J.J. McCarthy. Oh, wait, J.J. McCarthy is going somewhere else, too. J.J. McCarthy is going to New York. Alpha Rob says, neither one of those teams have two top receivers. Darnold will fail. Meaning the Giants and the Steelers? Well, Alpha Rob, as I do think George Pickens is a good talent, I think George Pickens is officially out of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steelers will either trade him away and get some draft capital, or they're going to draft the number one receiver. I don't know who that number one receiver will be. I've been watching the Senior Bowl a little bit. There's some standouts that are happening that are going to be nice second, third round picks. So that could definitely be some number one guys. But the Giants, they definitely have a number one guy. They have Malik Neighbors. That man is going to be a dog. That man's going to be a dog. Seth says the Raiders suck, and Sanders is going there. Seth, slow it down, baby. Stick around for Factor Crap. Slow it down. We're going to be talking about those Raiders and Dak Prescott, baby. Let's go. We'll talk about that. And Laura says, the last I heard, the Atlanta Falcons were going to collude to get Sam Darnold down there, and I think Atlanta Falcons seemed like a good place for him to go. Sheesh, Laura. Sheesh. Too soon. James says that Darnold Neighbors connection would be crazy. Listen, I don't want to throw shade at the Minnesota Vikings. I don't want to show shade at Sam Darnold. I don't want to throw shade at anybody. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf and be better, right? But I think Sam Darnold was all product of the system, James. Laura, Jim, Alpha Rob, the rest of the people out there, John, Casey, Josh. I think Sam Darnold and the Kevin O'Connell system was a perfect match. It was a perfect marriage. You had two really, really good receivers. You had a really good running back. You had an overrated or an underrated defense. Minnesota Vikings was a perfect fit for Sam Darnold. If he goes anywhere, he is going to all of a sudden be the man, the myth, the legend. Go out there and win me some games, and that's where he's going to crumble. Josh says he would be a great fit in the Giants, Seahawks, and Titans. Listen, the Seahawks are not going to move on from Geno Smith. I think they signed a 3-year deal with Geno. If I'm not mistaken, Geno and Sam Darnold are the same age, or at least pretty equivalent. The Titans, I think they want to draft a quarterback, or at least get a younger quarterback, a.k.a. Hendon Hooker, even though he's not that much younger, but a younger quarterback. I don't see him going to the Titans, but I could be wrong, right? Could be wrong. Seth says, anybody going to watch the boring Pro Bowl? No, not at all, Seth. I have the skills competition paused. I'm going to watch the skills competition, but the Pro Bowl, nah, not at all. Laura says Sam Darnold isn't staying. Interesting. John says all of this Raider BS I'm hearing driving me nuts to Medicare. John, stay tuned, man, because we're going to be talking about Max Crosby and your quarterback situation coming up here. Casey said the Chiefs just announced no rally if they win the Super Bowl. That's a complete false statement. They are moving it, Casey. So I am a Kansas City native, and the last 2 seasons they've had at Union Station where the draft was at. They've said they will hold a rally, just not on Hospital Hill, aka Union Station. They're going to move it to Power and Light, that type of area. So James says, honestly, I think it would be a mistake on the Vikings to let him go for that exact reason. The system is his soulmate. At the same time, you got JJ McCarthy. That could be the system of the soulmate either. So soulmate too. But let's talk about the Pro Bowl, guys.